Crunchy. Hello, Crunch community. I am here with John. My name's Levi Out Loud. You can call me Levi. You can call me Loud. Just don't call me out. And we're here to give our review of Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. This was the first of the MultiVerse series that I watched in theaters, which was really cool. I'm really
That's
glad I saw
that's
it
just that's just criminal, dude. That's the first one you've seen. I think I
in
may have
theaters, in
seen.
theaters, in
Yeah,
theaters.
I may have seen every single one in theaters, dude. I think I okay. It's actually a pretty good thing we're talking about that because this it's probably going to fall into a little bit of a little bit of my critiques later on. But like seeing the first Godzilla, in, I think it's 2014, in theaters, I think was a really good thing. It's one of those movies that really makes you feel small because they really do a good job of making Godzilla, this very secretive monster that they don't show too many images of. And then once you start getting those big shots of Godzilla, it's like, whoa, this guy's huge. And it was a really big thing that, this version of Godzilla was the biggest one we had seen so far. So I it's criminal, dude, that you haven't seen, or this is the first one you've seen in theaters, dude. Because that
Yeah,
first
yeah.
that first Godzilla movie, dude, it was so good to see in theaters, man. Because just the sound, the ambiance that it creates, and also Bryan Cranston in that movie was just great. Like he really delivered in that movie, man. And so I mean, that was probably one of the best ones to see in theaters, dude.
Damn, I didn't realize the MultiVerse has that many movies until I checked before. I was like, this is their sixth movie into the
Yeah,
franchise.
yeah,
Yeah,
in
or
like 10 years.
fifth or
Yeah, this is
sixth.
and this has been over the course of like 10 years. So I mean, they're doing
Yeah,
pretty good. They're doing pretty
yeah.
good.
A third one hasn't been announced yet. They're waiting on the uh the success of this movie. They're waiting to see how it goes. Like, do people
Mhm.
really want to see Kong vs. Godzilla? And I think it's doing really well. Like, I think it
Yeah.
beat Doom Part Two, which that
Yeah.
that is that is that is a feat. Like, round of applause for them.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we go into it. See, got Kong and Zilla again. Um, I don't know if it was. I don't know if I feel the same way, but the humans did get me a little bit tired. Like, I was like, oh my god,
Y-
I what
yes.
a
Yes, I agree. I agree.
yeah.
But what I will appreciate is that all of the issues with the humans further the plot of the monsters, if that
Okay,
makes sense. So like when you go
yeah,
back
that's
to
needed.
like
Yeah,
Godzilla King of the Monsters, you have to deal with like this wife and husband story of why they broke up and all this other stuff. And like I don't care about any of that. Like I just give me the monsters. You have King Ghidorah in this movie. Why am I focusing on this divorce that happened? Like I understand like their lives are centered around like the monsters, but that doesn't further the plot of the movie. So like in this one, all the issues that you see arise have to do directly with the monsters. And all the human elements of it are kind of centered around the monsters, which is I like the direction they're going with it. And I understand that we do need some type of human dialogue in the movie. So I do get that this is something that needs to happen. And
yeah,
they took a little more of a backseat compared to the other movies, which I
yeah,
appreciate.
yeah, yeah,
Although
yeah.
although it's still there and it is a little boring, but it's not without purpose, which I think is a good thing.
I will admit I might be biased, but every time Brian Tyree Henry was on there on screen, he's the Discord, uh, you know, not DJ, like radio host, like
Yeah, yeah.
conspiracy
Yeah,
theorists and
he's
stuff like
great.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really great.
Yeah,
He
dude, he
delivered
had
some
me
amazing lines.
chuckling a lot. He had me chuckling a lot through that movie, dude. He
Yeah,
really anchored a lot of that of the comical
yeah,
timing. Cuz like that little bromance he has with the guy that's like the pilot or
yeah,
the vet, right? The vet.
yeah. The
It was really really good. I like this one little subtle scene where like he grabs his arm after like being threatened by the people that they
oh,
meet. Like when
oh
he
yeah, yeah.
grabs his arm, dude, I I really laughed at that part, man. But
It's like
he's good comedic relief. I think he's
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
they need to keep throughout some of those films,
It's like
dude, because he really is have good comedic timing.
yeah. The vet was cool where he just like there's one scene where he does go down and help Godzilla, no, Kong with his
Hmm.
toothache. That
Hmm.
was a really fun scene to watch. That was really interesting. But yeah, so that like I'll admit, like it wasn't as prominent like the humans as the other films, um, but it was still like, oh my god, can we please go back? I
Yeah.
think it would a little better if they did like have a little bit of action. Okay, I'll admit, don't not make fun of me, but I did get scared when that fucking point when there was like a little jump scare. I, I won't talk about it, but there is there was at least one death of the humans. If you're not counting like
Oh
off
yes,
screen.
yes. Yeah,
I did
I
I
know what you're
did
talking about.
I did get stung. Like I was like, ah.
That's
I
funny,
wasn't
dude.
expect. I was like, something's gonna come up, and of course something did. But
Hmm. Yeah,
and
I know exactly which part you're talking about.
that
But
was
yeah,
that was one nitpick, is that like no one brought any guns. Like you're going into a different world, different land, and there was only one dude that brought guns. I guess everyone's
but you also got
like,
to think about it this way, dude. If you're going to this place where everything is huge, what is your
yeah.
gun gonna do to a certain degree? It's
Well,
like
it's gonna do
you
be a lot better.
I'm just saying, dude, I'd rather be a little bit lighter and have some more survival stuff than a
Oh.
gun. Because I mean, if you think about it, the only thing you could probably take down is maybe a mosquito that's down there, man. It's crazy
Mm,
how big
yeah.
everything is down there. But I think my nitpick had to be, and it's gonna sound maybe a little too nitpicky, but this is more like plot convenience. Um, but King Kong's glove or the gauntlet. Like, it
Uh,
just so happened that they were working on this one glove for this one specific
uh,
thing that happened to Kong's arm, and it's gonna help this one thing that he's going through right now, and it just so happens that it was 500 feet away from where they're at.
okay,
Like,
yeah.
what? Like,
I
plot
see.
convenience, dude. Like,
I see.
there's no way this is gonna be, like, the
It was cool
thing.
as hell though. It was cool as hell though.
It was cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it
Was cool.
wasn't cool, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is the plot convenience.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay,
Right.
the one issue he has right now that he's dying by, and this one gauntlet that's 500 feet away that they just so happen to be working on is being worked on, and it's completed a prototype, and we could get it right now to him. It's like, okay, dude, the plot convenience is insane, but it was still a cool scene, like regardless.
Yeah, he's like, hey, well, what's wrong, Kong? He has a foot injury. Oh, well, we got some metal glove, man.
Yeah.
We haven't made the metal foot yet.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
um,
So, but
but
getting into that, the villains, I think, it took a little longer than I thought it was going to take to finally get to the villains.
yeah,
Um, but I think that the villains were just a little lackluster. Um, the fights were cool. 100%
yeah,
fights were
yeah,
cool. The
that's pretty cool.
battle sequences are cool. Um, the the danger that Scar King poses is real, and it's legitimate because he has like enslaved the Kong um people. But when it comes to like his battle power alone versus Kong, it wasn't
I
really all that.
I I disagree with you. Like, oof, I felt there was no danger for Kong versus Kong and Zilla. Like, I was like,
Against
oh,
him, yeah, against him, not so. That's what I mean. Like his battle power wasn't that threatening,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the fact that he took control of an entire society of Kongs,
yeah,
okay, yeah, and like he for no dialogue, it reminded me a lot of like going back to like Planet of the Apes or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with Caesar, kind of like that whole sequence
yeah, yeah.
with the other apes. It kind of reminded me of that whole sequence of the whole, like, doing the animal noises and the laughing and stuff like that. So I thought it was a little funny, but you could tell that he was a bad dude. Like you could tell he
Yeah,
was a
yeah, yeah.
bad dude. But like I said, like his battle power alone wasn't really that threatening. It was more like the control he had over Shimu, um that was more threatening than anything else. Because once he lost that dude, I mean, it was kind of GG after that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so his presence. I thought, oh, this guy's really cool. He's a orangutan, right? That's what he's
I
supposed to
think
be.
so. I mean, he's not a
Yeah,
full-on orangutan because I think
yeah,
orangutans are a little bit bigger, but he has that lengthy type of
yeah,
feel. I wouldn't know the exact species of ape he is, but it is closer to an orangutan when it comes to like length, which is very interesting too because Kong is usually the one used to being agile, the most agile in the
yeah,
fight. So I think that was very interesting for like Kong having to adjust to having a more agile opponent than he is because he's used to being
yeah,
the one that's agile as hell.
yeah. But when the Scar King first comes in, like it's like just his posture. Like he just seems like it was like to me it was like so like anime villain, like so JoJo Bizarre
Yeah.
Adventure.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
you got a metal tooth,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I'm not sure if you saw the hint, but like he be having all the women to themselves. I'm
Mhm.
assuming like he has
Yeah, yeah.
all women
You
with
can
the
kinda
babies
tell,
and like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and also
Um,
that little Kong kinda looks like him too, so
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know. Oh, do what? I did not see that. I did not make that
Oh, you didn't really
connection.
make that
I
connection.
did not.
Okay,
I did not make that.
the way I kinda took that is that basically all the children that were there, I mean, we didn't get to see all the children, but my assumption was that all the offsprings that were there must have been his offspring. Because I highly doubt he was
Mhm.
letting the other males, get their thing
Yeah.
on. Um, but so that's what I mean by, like, he was kinda like that tyrant threat, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he was a good at ruling over them, that kinda threat. But yeah, so Little Kong, I think, was his offspring because he kind of had, very similar structure
Yeah.
and hair to him.
Yeah.
So that was my assumption that he was, the only one, spreading himself around. I guess I could say for lack of a better way.
Yeah. Let's see. So before we go into depth, because like I'll say that. Um. So okay. So after that initial fight, like after the first fight you see with Scar King, I was like, okay, this guy actually poses a threat. And then after that, once Kong teams up with Godzilla, that's where I was like, okay, yeah, it's GG. Like I think
Yeah,
Kong or Zilla could have probably done this by themselves. Um,
yeah,
like
agreed,
honestly,
agreed.
honestly,
Yeah. So, but
like
I
I don't
kind
think
of
this team
like,
up was not needed. I don't think this
yeah,
team up was not needed.
I feel like the movie and the script was only written for Kong. Um,
Hmm,
but they somehow was like, okay, we need to incorporate Godzilla somehow. Um, just due to like what will help us sell more tickets. So I think it was originally just written as a Kong 2 movie.
uh,
But they wanted to incorporate Shimu, and they're like, well, Shimu is like the perfect opposite to Godzilla, so we can try to bring in Godzilla as well. Because I feel like if you take away like 80% of Godzilla scenes, this movie can still work. Honestly, I
yeah,
think it could still work because you could still bring in Godzilla at the very end of the movie to help him out without all the other Godzilla scenes. And I feel like it still works. Um,
yeah, yeah. That's what you're saying.
yeah, I think even minus the Godzilla buff that he got in the middle of the movie, I think Godzilla base power could still even help as
Which
much
he
as he did.
really, which he really didn't need that base power. Like that,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that pink laser didn't hit shit. Like it didn't hit
No,
shit throughout the whole movie.
yeah, it didn't. It really didn't. So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like the movie was just supposed to be a Kong 2 movie, like almost solo, but they brought in Godzilla just, to add more ticket sales or to satisfy the Godzilla people, whatever the case may be. Because I think if we just focus on Kong, Kong was a really good like asset to the
Yeah,
movie. Like
yeah.
just him alone. You
Kong
see
is Kong.
him finally find
Kong
his
has,
people. You see him get, his fatherly side of the monkey, and you get to see some of the abuse that the monkey has seen too, especially like just when it came to just eating, like just
yeah.
that simple
Okay,
scene
yeah,
alone, you get to read so much into the backstory of this little ape, and just how much he feels safe with Kong. So you get to see like that fatherly side of Kong, but like in an animalistic way. You see Kong start to care that he doesn't want to, hurt these other apes that he's finding because he's spent his whole life finding them. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting, in and of itself.
Yeah, they
So
say at the very beginning that Kong is a sociable animal. Like the
yeah,
solitary life is not what he's used to. He's not used to
yeah,
being by himself.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think the movie would have worked just as well with 80% of Godzilla cut out of the movie. But don't get me wrong, I appreciate the 80% of
Yeah,
Godzilla that we got in the movie because Godzilla is just an unstoppable force of nature
yeah,
at its core. Like Kong, yes, Kong is smart. Kong sets traps that we see in the movie, so we know Kong's intellect is beyond whatever Godzilla's is. But like Godzilla is just like, I fight now. Like, he's just gonna square up. He's gonna square up with anyone or anything, and he's
yeah.
probably going to win. And I think at this point, it's just like, how do you defeat both of them at the same time? There's no way. Like it was just overkill at the end of the movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Even as the big threat that Shima was supposed to be, like even at that, like it
yeah.
really wasn't that big of a
Uh,
threat.
I'll go over why I think the last fight. Like I'll go in detail about it, but um, I'm like I'm ready to give my score. Like if you want to give your score before,
Yeah.
but if you want to do like a little more like very vague on what the stuff you don't like, but I think I'm ready to go in depth on certain scenes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
for me, I think this was a solid. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out. Like out of five, I think it was probably good 4 out of 5 or 3.5. Yeah, I'll give it a what would you say is a 3? Is like a B, like a B
Um,
plus,
if you kind of think of like five as like an A plus plus,
A plus
and you
plus.
can kind of think of like 4.5 as like a 90%, something like that, or
I think
you
a
know like
4 out of 5.
like if you think about it, 2.5 is like middle of the road, you know.
Yeah,
So where do you think it falls, in terms
I
of movies?
I think it was a 4 out of 5. To be honest with you,
4 to 5. Okay.
4 out of 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5. It was. I'll say my piece, but I feel like there was a lot of maybe a lot of hype that wasn't delivered. It did a lot of
Hmm.
things right. It did a lot of things well, but I think there was just it was very anticlimactic, and
Hmm.
maybe I was just expecting too much into it. I think by the end of it, maybe they're like, "Oh, we're running out of money here. Like,
Hmm.
we this is a lot of CGI. We need to wrap this up." But
Yeah.
that's why I give it. I really recommend that everyone watches in theaters, as I definitely got a big experience. This is my first MonsterVerse movie in theaters, and I mean that's my final piece before you go into like spoiler
Yeah.
territory, like major
So
spoilers.
so I think my take of for at least my scoring, I think I'm comfortable at like a 3.75.
Three
I
point seven
don't
five.
think it's their strongest movie. I don't think it's their strongest movie. Um, but where I think the movie kind of feels a little lackluster is in they are in Hollow Earth for most of the movie, and it goes back to what I was saying about the first Godzilla movie. The first Godzilla movie really brings you into the presence of Godzilla is this huge, like, force of nature, and he is like just bigger than most of these buildings that we got going on, and it really all these camera shots, everything that alludes to Godzilla is just painting this huge monster. And so then fast forward 10 years, now we're here in Godzilla Kong, and it feels like we're like the monsters are smaller now in a weird way, because it doesn't really paint the picture that these are really huge titans that are fighting for a good while until we get to the city at the very end. So
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's just me. If that's a little bit of a critique. I don't know if that's fair to say because it is supposed to be like a big monster movie.
You
But I think
go when you go to Hollow Earth. you gain 10 inches like in height. No.
But yeah, dude. So I feel like that was maybe something in the movie they probably could have illustrated better because I feel like that's maybe like a lost art is what I'm saying. Like you really don't feel like these are gigantic animals until you get to the city, I guess. But I think there are other ways to really depict that these are huge animals. And then the human element wasn't as bad as before. I think it's good that they took a little more of a backseat and their what's it called presence is for reason. Their issues are for reason. And I think the best part of the movie is Kong. So
Yeah.
I think they really needed to focus in on that a little bit more, instead of like painting this ancient war that happened between Godzilla and Shimu. So I feel like they should have focused in on Kong a little bit more, and I think that was supposed to be the original script, and I think they probably should have stuck with focusing on Kong a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's probably my critique, but definitely a 3.75 for sure. Like I don't think it was
Okay.
close enough to be a 4. If they just did one or two more different things a little differently, maybe a 4. But yeah, dude, I think it's still a very solid movie, but it's still a very big budget film, so definitely see it in theaters.
Yeah. Okay. So going spoiler territory. So and I've been eh, like in my seat for a while, just want to say my piece. But I think the final fight could have been a lot better if the Scar King, if he had some lackeys or something like that. Maybe like
Hmm.
some like different colored apes or like at least like his own goons, during that
Yeah.
final fight. He did have it when because there's two separate fights with Godzilla team up. There's one
Hmm.
where and there's a lot of great clown shots. Like we didn't specify that, but there's a lot of great screensaver shots. Like one where they're running, one where they all
Hmm.
do the two clash,
Yeah.
and that was really cool. Where gravity was also affected, um, and you saw his like little army squad helping out
Hmm.
during the fight.
Yeah.
That would have been great during the city because like the whole thing
Yeah.
with the Scar King taking down Godzilla was because he had an army. I don't know if he was powerful enough to do it so many years ago by himself to beat Godzilla, but
Hmm.
I think if Godzilla and Kong, if they were overrun by so many, like at least a
Hmm.
squad, I think it would have
Yeah.
been like I feel like okay, yeah, they could lose this, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. There was
Yeah.
one part where they showed. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, man. Go
I
ahead.
was like, there was one part where Kong was getting tag team. And I was like, is Godzilla like fucking knocked out? Like, because because Kong was getting comboed like
Yeah. He's
by
getting wombo
Shimo and
combo,
the Star
dude.
King.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, is Godzilla knocked out? Like,
Yeah, dude.
is he okay? Someone check on him.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I definitely agree that that last fight would have been a much better if at least some of the army was leashed into the city too.
Yeah,
Because I think that's where the real power of Scar King was. It wasn't
yeah,
necessarily his ability or his difference in fighting style or even the Shimu or even control of Shimu, but I think having control over his little army was definitely the biggest selling point of Scar King, and they didn't really use it. Because I feel like that's where the real terror would have been at, having to face 4 or 5 different Kongs, with Godzilla. Like if you think about it, Godzilla already has his handful like fighting one Kong, but could you imagine if he had like 3 or 4 of them?
yeah,
Also, I think that's a missed opportunity against like kill shots against Kongs, because we're never gonna see a kill shot on Kong like that from Godzilla. It's just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So I think to really like give some of that fan service, they could have done some pretty cool
yeah.
kill
They
shots
could
against Kongs,
like
because Godzilla is a brutal monster, dude. Like
yeah,
especially like the way he's killed some of these monsters, he's pretty brutal, man. So I think it would have been pretty cool if we saw like Godzilla just just laser beam a Kong in half. Like that would have been crazy, dude. Like
yeah. I
they
think that
definitely missed
yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, like them slowly, like once they actually like kill a Kong, and then like the battle starts like going up for Kong and Zilla. I think that would have transitioned a lot well. Like
Yeah,
Because like it wasn't even Kong and Zilla versus them. It was Kong, Zilla, Mothra, and then
Mothra.
the little monkey dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
I forget his king. We should just call him Baby Kong for now.
Diddy Kong.
Yeah,
I was calling
Diddy
Diddy Kong
Kong.
really quick. I was calling Diddy Kong throughout the movie, but yeah, it was like the four of them, and when they're all
Yeah.
together, I was like,
Yeah,
I
like
was like,
they definitely didn't need Mothra, dude. Bringing that in, like they definitely didn't need Mothra, bro. All they needed Mothra for was to just calm Godzilla down. That's all they needed
yeah, yeah,
Mothra for. She ain't gotta do shit else. All she had to do was just calm him down, because Godzilla about to whoop that ass one more time. Because like I said, he's literally just an animalistic, just like I'm gonna
yeah,
fight whoever's in front of me. Like he's got no he's got no filter on who these hands are for, bro. Like it's crazy. But that's all they needed Mothra for. But like that's what I mean, man. Like they really missed out on multiple Kongs. Cause
yeah,
like I said, dude, we're never gonna see a kill shot on Kong. But like to get a little bit of a picture of what that would be like, would definitely have been like Godzilla going in on a couple of these Kongs, dude.
yeah. Like when they're all standing around like together, like they just like I forgot it was like celebrating their victory or they were like just like trying to go. I was just like I was ad libbing like from that scene in Guardians. So what are we?
Mhm.
Some like type of Guardians of the Galaxy? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it seemed to me. But so I mean, over like it had a good send off to where Kong's now the leader of like the new found Kongs.
Hmm.
Zilla is like just nestled up
Yeah.
at the Rome
Yeah.
Coliseum
It's like
like a
a
cat.
big ass pet just sitting in the Coliseum, dude.
Would you go pet
Oh
it?
hell yeah, dude. Yeah. I
Oh,
go
you
just go
go
like
pet.
I go slap the tail and then run away, dude. It's kind of funny
But
though. It kind of looks like a little cat or something like sitting like in a bed. It's kind of funny.
um, so it seems like uh you know what? The one thing that did piss me off, which maybe I should have dropped it down from a four, was there was so many battles off screen. I was like, did they just do
Yeah.
a battle off screen? I was like,
Hmm.
the first one that you first see, which was really cool, was Godzilla versus like this giant bug like creature.
Yeah, the
Um,
crustacean type thing. Yeah. I can't
yeah,
remember their names. They all have names, but I can't remember their names.
yeah. Then you see Godzilla versus Ghidorah, I think.
No, it's not Ghidorah.
No, no, not yet. That of course. It's
That
like
had already
that serpent
happened.
creature. The serpent, yeah, the serpent creature.
The one underwater, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Titanus or something like that. It was
yeah,
like a sea dragon type creature.
yeah. He that one doesn't really happen off screen, but like when he does the beam, then like
Mhm.
you don't see it hit him. You just see body parts. But one day I was like, what the hell was that? It was a Kong versus the Hydra in the water.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another like
Yeah,
off-screen kill.
yeah. I was like, what's going on? Oh, please don't tell me they're gonna do like fights like this. But
Like all the places you have to cut the budget on, man. Why'd you have to cut the budget on that one?
yeah. I'm trying. I think that was about it. I mean, of my nitpicks. But overall, like the Scar King versus Kong was a really great battle.
Yeah, yeah, that was a
That
pretty cool one, man. Cause like you really
yeah,
didn't feel like Kong was safe at that time.
yeah,
Mainly because you have all these guys surrounding Kong and he's trying to adapt to this new fighting style. And like he's learning that, oh my god, I'm not the fastest Titan right now. So like he has to kind of adapt and learn and stuff. So it was a really good battle. It was a really, really good battle. And I think something like that should have been similar to the very end, like a 1v1 type battle. Godzilla and Mothra are just taking down all these other Kongs, and Shimu is right on their ass. Um, and you finally just have like the one-on-one battle with Kong, and like just undeniable. I am the king right now. So there would have been a lot better sequence. Missed opportunity. Didn't get to see a kill shot on a Kong, which I think was a very much missed opportunity from Godzilla fans. But Yeah, I think last sequence could have been better, and they were so OP, dude. It was kind of crazy having Mothra, Godzilla, and Kong
Yeah.
versus King and Shimu. Like it wasn't really that much of a battle. It didn't feel like much was at stake.
Mhm. So Diddy, honestly, I Diddy Kong wasn't gonna die. Like, I'll be honest with you, I was like, oh damn, like I thought this Diddy Kong would be like
Like,
prevalent
I'll be
character.
honest with you, dude. I'll be honest with you. If I didn't see the trailer, I would have thought Diddy Kong would have died when Kong was swinging him around
Yeah,
in a
that's what I'm
baseball
talking
bat.
about. I was like, oh, they're gonna kill him. Like,
Like
what
if I
the?
didn't see the trailer, dude, if I didn't see the trailer and I knew that he was gonna
Yeah.
be part of the movie, I would have thought that dude was dead, man. Like he was
I
swinging
was
him
like,
around like a
Kong
rag
is
doll, man.
killing these guys. Kong is killing these guys. He's killing the little kid too. I was like,
It
damn,
it reminds me of that
he
scene
just
from Jason X when he's using the girl in the body bag to hit the other
yeah, yeah,
girl in the body
yeah.
bag. Like that's exactly what that reminded me of. Like
I
I'm
was like,
telling you, dude, if I
jeez.
did see that trailer, I would have thought that little baby one died. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I was like, Kong is killing these guys. He do not care. Like Jesus. I did find it funny how Kong saved that one Kong, and it's like, oh, Kong ain't thug like that. And he
Yeah.
pulls up a knife. All right, well, you lost your chance, man. You only get
Yeah,
one.
proceeds
See
to
ya.
proceeds to 300 kick this guy off the fucking side of the
See ya.
cliff. He was like, "This is Hollow Earth." Just kicks him off, dude.
You only
But
get
yeah,
one,
dude,
man.
he legit Spartan kicked that dude off, man. It was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Um, I guess we saw Kong kill some other
Yeah.
Kongs with his traps.
Hmm. Yeah.
That was interesting to see. I was like, oh shit, this guy got traps. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool, man.
I think that's about it. That I have. The gravitational scene was pretty cool. I saw.
Hmm.
I didn't know. Like, I guess moths have webs, which I didn't know. Like, because Mothra was like just spewing out
Yeah.
webs.
I kind of didn't know that. But maybe
But
they do. I guess, yeah.
no, maybe just Mothra. I know
Maybe
lizards don't
that's
spew out
maybe
pink
that's how they
lasers, but
make the cocoon in the first place. I don't know.
oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And then the final fight was cool. I just felt like it could have been longer. I was like, damn,
Yeah. Same.
already? Like that's
Yeah.
all they had to do was just crush the gem. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. All I had to do, man.
Like I don't know if that guy's I don't know if Scar King thought logically, like, should I really have the thing that controls Shimu as a whip and throw it at
Yeah.
people?
Mhm.
Like, is that really the smartest thing I could do with it?
Probably
Like,
not, man. Definitely not.
but yeah, it was a really action packed. It is a fun movie. I know I'm nitpicking it, but
Yeah.
I just really wish that they did a lot of stuff better. Like, it was
Mhm.
really good. If I have to
Yeah.
rewatch it, to be honest with you, if I was to rewatch it, and I'm saying this wholeheartedly, I probably would skip the human parts. Maybe I'll listen to like a little bit Tyree, but I
Mhm.
probably just want to rewatch the monster fights. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
more than
Good
likely,
monster fights.
and Kong had a lot of expressionism. Like, it's so cool how there wasn't need to be dialogue during those scenes,
Mhm. Mhm.
but you could just watch the whole monster scenes without the humans. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. But thankfully the human parts aren't that long except for like a couple of sequences that kind of drag out a little bit. But definitely it's much more trimmed. Like they trimmed the fat on a lot of those human scenes, which is a big upgrade, from King of the Monsters and Godzilla versus Kong. And I think it's progressively gotten better in terms of like what the
mm,
human characters do, how much story is behind all of them. So
yeah, yeah.
definitely they have gotten a lot better. A lot better.
Would you want to see a third film with them too? Like, of course,
I
right?
think
Like,
I think so. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good one, but I really feel like they should focus in on either one or the other in the next film.
oh,
Um,
okay, see,
for whatever reason, I know it's kind of hard to do now because of the Titans and how they each attract each other and stuff like that. So I feel like from here on out, we're not gonna get very many, single um stars unless it's like only Godzilla. I think that's pretty much the only way it could happen unless, Godzilla's only on the surface world, which how they explained, and something only happens there. Kong doesn't really care. or something only happens in Hollow Earth, and Godzilla has no idea what's going on for whatever reason. So it's gonna be kind of hard for them to explain the only one monster. But I feel like their next movie should really focus in on one person or one monster.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see another one. Like, call me like, I'm into multiverse now. Like,
Hmm.
I'm back into it. Like, I gotta go see the other films. Um, I gotta go see the other films now. But yeah, this was a very fun movie, and I can't wait to see them do more. Um, in this MonsterVerse series, they haven't made like an original monster, right? Every other monster has had.
I think technically the Muto is. I think most monsters are original. Actually, I think the Muto from Godzilla 1 is original. I think some of those Titans, like more of the Titan realm, is more original. So like the one that we saw, basically everything that's been one shot by Godzilla at this point is like
Okay,
an original, I think, except for Mothra, Godzilla, and Kong themselves. So and then obviously Ghidorah is a I know a monster from the past, and so is Rodan.
yeah,
Um, but like pretty much everything that Godzilla has one shot as of right now
yeah.
is I think an original idea from the MonsterVerse. So like the Mutos, the little sea dragon.
Is the Scar King original,
I
or is
think
that
so. I don't know if he's in any other films or any sort of lore from Godzilla, because definitely not Godzilla. I don't think there's any sort of ape character besides King Kong.
no? So it is original MonsterVerse creation.
Yeah. Okay. So I
Okay,
think also
okay,
Shimu as well are all original IPs. But I think what they should do next is maybe start digging into the realm of like the old Toho licenses. So like I don't know if they can do that legally, but I think that would be pretty cool if we were to see like a Space Godzilla or uh I can't remember this guy's name. It's another one that's from space, and Ghidra, I believe maybe. Um or Destroya. I'm sorry, Destroya. That would be another pretty good monster. Uh but I mean those would be pretty cool to bring in. Those are very
yeah,
good monsters, but I think they're probably going to be doing more original stuff, or more original story. I think for the sake of
yeah,
legality, but I would be very interested to see a one monster focus on this next one.
yeah. Um, so given that the Scar King was original, this gives me a
Mhm,
lot of hope that, oh, okay, yeah, like they can do some original shit. They could definitely like make a third one to where, like,
mhm.
I mean, the most they can do as of right now is maybe make a bigger monster for Godzilla and Kong to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Like a stronger force. But that's probably the only storyline they have. Or Kong and Zilla fight once again
Mhm,
with their newfound powers.
mhm.
But the fact that they can make a bigger original monster, I say go for it. I mean, that's what people go for, is for the monster fights. They don't go for the human interaction. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So I'm
Mhm.
all for it. I feel like they'll make a better, bigger monster, whatever. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, same, dude. I'm ready for it if they want to do another one. And I think that they've been doing a pretty good job, especially with the Monarch series. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but I mean, they still delivered on a few
Mhm.
things and expanded the lore of Monarch and stuff. So I think it's definitely something that they're gonna keep working on, and hopefully we get to see more from them.
Before I end it, do you think they'll have another team up or something like that?
Absolutely, they're gonna have another team up for sure. They're gonna have
No, I
another
mean
team
like
up
with
for sure.
another monster. Like there's gonna be like
Oh, like
three
another monster
big
joining
guys.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
another
well, they already
monster
got
join them.
Mothra technically, but
Yeah,
may and now maybe Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong might now be
yeah,
the aid for Kong because Mothra's more like a Godzilla aid.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty. I mean, now if you think about it, now dude, it's gonna be kind of hard to take Kong on. Like Kong needs a real threat because now he's got an army of Kongs,
yeah,
and now he's got Godzilla as a backup. So if you
yeah,
ever, so that's what I mean. It's gonna be hard to create villains now because you
yeah,
have this team up, and that's kind of like the downside of team ups. You got to start making bigger villains. So I mean, come on, dude. We
yeah,
gotta.
yeah.
At
We
this
all
point,
need
it's
it.
like you gotta start making a turn towards like bigger, badder villains that can end the world in one shot. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be kind of hard to kind of start creating these kinds of villains. That's why I feel like maybe the next movie should just focus on one, because that way you don't have to
Oh
create
yeah,
such a
yeah,
huge threat. Because
yeah.
it's gonna be hard, dude. And I feel like it should probably focus more towards Godzilla, since Godzilla is still solo dolo, man. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, put Gamera in there. But I was like, Gamera's a good guy. I think he's more. I think he's more of a good guy than Godzilla is. This,
Yeah,
this
I don't
guy,
even think they're in the same universe, right?
no, they're
Gamera.
not.
Yeah,
Gamera's his own property, but
yeah, yeah,
we could hope. We could hope for something.
yeah.
These have been getting pretty wild crossovers now and then.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
thank you guys for listening. Let us know how you felt about Kong, Godzilla Kong or Kongzilla. I
It's
always
Godzilla X Kong, man. That's all I know.
Godzilla X Kong. Let us know how you feel about Godzilla X Kong or Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. It was a very great film. I believe me and John are both unanimously agree that you should watch it in theaters. Treat yourself. Seeing the huge fights on the screen is a very big spectacle. All in all, like and subscribe. We really enjoy the review and our little banter. And stay crunchy.